Hello there, I'm Sabrina Zainal and you're watching Nightline, news making the headlines. Prime Minister confident of Sarawak and Sabah's support in unity government. And trio shot dead by police in a morning shootout. Good morning. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said any group aiming to overthrow the unity government can no longer depend on the support of Gabungan Parti Sarawak, GPS, and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, GRS. He revealed that there were desperate attempts by certain parties to convince GPS to abandon the current federal government, but such backdoor maneuvers have been unequivocally rejected. Anwar said that he had learned about these attempts to topple the unity government from Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Upeng during their meeting in Putrajaya on Friday. However, Abang Johari, in a firm and consistent manner, rejected the proposals and said that he will not entertain any discussion on severing relations between Sarawak and the unity government.
Dalam senario politik semasa ini, peranan atau pendirian GPS itu agak kritikal. Pertamanya, kerana mereka hanya dengan penyertaan dan dukungan parti utama Sarawak GPS dan Sabah GRS yang akan memungkinkan perubahan itu berlaku.
Anwar said this during a dialogue session with senior editors from the country's electronic, print and online media held at the complex Sri Perdana in Putrajaya on Saturday. Separately, Anwar said he would not write off Barisan Nasional as a partner in the government, adding that both Pakatan Harapan and BN have a good working relationship.
Kalau orang nak write off UMNO ni seolah oleh itu saya harus fikirkan strategi lain, I don't.
The Prime Minister added that the current federal government is also very stable thanks to UMNO President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who plays an important role in ensuring good ties between BN and PH. Meanwhile, Anwar said the government will proceed with the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail HSR if it could substantially lower the cost. The Prime Minister added that while the final decision has not been made, the government has principally agreed to revive the project and had mentioned the matter to Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong.
We are paying the penalty, which doesn't make sense. Whether you agree or not, if it's done, then we just proceed. Probably we have to change the terms, we have to change alignment, whatever, but it has to proceed. But what we have done now is make sure that the negotiation start. Otherwise, the cost will be exorbitant, the increase.
The project, with an initial estimation of 72 billion ringgit, did not take off as both countries failed to reach a consensus before the project agreement expired on December 31st, 2020. The government had previously said it was open to reviving the project if it could find private investors. Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali has stressed that forming a cartel to gain profit without fair competition is an act of sabotage against the government's ongoing efforts to reduce the people's cost of living. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister said the issue was not just about anti-competition and market manipulation, but also has a significant impact on the people and the country's economy. Citing the case where 5 companies were fined 415.5 million ringgit by the Malaysia Competition Commission, MyCC, Armizan said the cartel was the largest ever detected since the establishment of MyCC in 2011.
Wujudnya elemen kartel yang memanipulasi pasaran dengan pakatan-pakatan tertentu dalam industri boleh menyebabkan harga-harga barang masyarakat contohnya meningkat pada kadar yang tidak munasabah. Dan kes ini adalah terkait dengan manipulasi pakatan di kalangan industri yang terlibat dalam penghasilan dan pengeluaran bahan makanan.
Speaking to the media at an event in Papar on Saturday, he added that in the interests of the people, the government, through his ministry and MyCC, is taking aggressive measures, especially considering the implementation of targeted subsidies next year. This as the prices of goods will be floated and influenced by supply and demand. Therefore, he said the existence of cartels manipulating the market for maximum profits would be detrimental to the people. On Friday, it was reported that MyCC had imposed a penalty of nearly 415.5 million ringgit against 5 poultry feed manufacturers for infringing the Competition Act by forming a cartel to raise the price of chicken feed, resulting in an increase in food prices in the market. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Muhammad Sabu has assured that there will be sufficient poultry, eggs and other food items available in the market, not only for daily consumption but also for the upcoming Christmas celebration and the festive seasons next year. The guarantee was given by the Agriculture and Food Security Minister on Saturday in the wake of the fine issued by the MyCC against 5 chicken feed manufacturers.
Christmas ini selalunya tidak melibatkan banyak, tapi Chinese New Year ya. Kemudian diikuti dengan Ramadan dan Hari Fitri. Itu memang perlu ada keperluan kecukupan bahan-bahan makanan. Kita bekerjasama dengan semua pihak.
Maksudnya sembunyi jaminan bekalan ayam.
InsyaAllah ada. Cukup insyaAllah.
Muhammad said this at a media conference after officiating the launch of the 2023 Amanah National Convention in Klang on Saturday. He also said that his ministry will closely monitor the situation to ensure issues of manipulation and food supply are handled in the best possible manner, not only to curb such incidents from recurring, but also to prevent them from burdening consumers. Now, the number of COVID-19 cases for Epidemiology Week, ME51, which is from December 17th to December 22nd, increased to 22,413 compared to 17,307 in the previous week. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said this was also a 29.5% increase in cases. In a statement on Saturday, Dr. Zulkifli said during the same period, the number of COVID-19 deaths was reported to have dropped by 23.1% from 26 to 20. Overall, the number of COVID-19 patients admitted to health facilities involving non-critical beds increased to 1.5%, while the usage of intensive care unit ICU beds rose to 3.6%. He said for the COVID-19 vaccine on December 22nd, only 50 people received the first booster dose, while 120 people received the second booster dose. Cumulatively, as of Friday, only 50.1% of Malaysians had received the first booster dose, and only 2.5% had received the second booster dose. Dr. Zulkifli added that his ministry will continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation and take immediate as well as appropriate action if necessary. In other news, the 3 Rohingya men shot dead by police in Gov't, Selangor early Saturday are believed to have been involved in more than 50 robbery and housebreaking cases across 6 states. State Police Chief Dato' Hussein Omar Khan said the suspects, all in their 30s, dubbed Gang Rantau Fiesta, were wanted by cops and had been involved in crime since 2011. Speaking to the media at a press conference on Saturday, Hussein said one of the suspects, believed to be the gang's leader, had been imprisoned but resumed his life of crime after being released in 2017. In the incident, which occurred after midnight, policemen on patrol in Selayang Jaya spotted the suspects in a Ford Fiesta car, acting in a suspicious manner, and stopped the vehicle. However, 2 of the suspects fired 3 shots at the policemen, forcing authorities to return fire, killing all 3 inside the car.
Mereka yang berada dalam kereta tersebut telah bertindak agresif dan melepaskan tembakan ke arah pihak polis. Dalam insiden tembak-menembak telah berlaku dan setelah selesai kejadian tembak-menembak, pihak polis telah melakukan pemeriksaan dan hasil pemeriksaan dapati dalam kereta Ford tersebut terdapat 3 lelaki yang berkerumunan darah dan telah meninggal dunia akibat daripada tembakan tersebut.
Checks revealed that 2 of the suspects held United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees UNHCR cards, while the 3rd suspect had no identification document. Police also seized 2 revolvers and a machete found in the suspect's car. Hussein added that apart from Selangor, the suspects were believed to be involved in robberies and housebreaking in Malacca, Negeri Sembilan, Kuala Lumpur, Pahang and Pulau Pinang.
In Selangor alone, he said the group was believed to be responsible for 27 cases of robberies and burglaries, involving a loss of 1.3 million ringgit. Police are now tracking down the remaining members of the gang, and the investigation is being carried out under Section 307 of the Penal Code. Meanwhile, Hussein said police have sought help from Interpol in the investigation into the murder of autistic child Zain Ryan Abdul Matin. He also said the evidence obtained during the course of investigation would be reviewed and cross-checked with the Interpol database.
Kita ada minta bantuan daripada Interpol dalam database mereka sebab ada beberapa maklumat walaupun bukan konklusif tetapi yang boleh bantu siasatan kita.
Hussein said police have recorded 225 conversations from families and residents at Idaman apartment in Damansara Damai and taken 248 DNA samples. He added that police will not give up in investigating the case despite finding limited evidence. The 6-year-old child was reported missing on December 5th before his body was found near a stream about 200 meters from his home the next day. The results of the autopsy found injuries to the victim's neck and body. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder.
Taiwan spots Chinese warships, aircraft near island ahead of elections. News from the foreign front after this breather.
Ni nampak macam sedap je. Nak ni lah.
Ini produk terbaru kami, Siu Supering Cheesy Corn. Nak cuba? Cheesy Corn ni ditabur dengan serbuk supering yang menambahkan lagi rasa kejunya.
Wah, bolehlah. Bagi saya cuba satu. Gabungan supering ni memang
Cik belum bayar lagi ni.
Maaf. Terlupa pula.
Dapatkan di Siu sekarang.
Dah nak masuk tahun 2024 ni, perempuan mestilah kena licik. Bijak.
You're adorable. You are in the presence of angel.
Dan berani. Later.
Time to go to work.
Awas ya para lelaki. Charlie's Angels menyerang Ahad ini 9 malam di Magnificent 8 TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Banyak lemak, pasti ramai yang berhadapan dengan masalah itu. Lemak berlebihan boleh menyebabkan pelbagai masalah kesihatan seperti obesiti dan penyakit jantung. Ada sesetengah orang yang mudah bakar lemak, ada juga yang sukar. Mengapa perkara ini berlaku? Apa pula perbezaan di antara lemak baik dan lemak jahat? Banyak lemak, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with the foreign front. Al-Bureij and Jabalia refugee camps in the central and northern Gaza Strip have become the latest targets of Zionist airstrikes on Saturday as relentless attacks resulted in the loss of dozens of innocent lives. The Al-Bureij refugee camp was bombed by a Zionist fighter jet, leading to the tragic death of 5 civilians, while another airstrike in Jabalia refugee camp claimed the lives of dozens of civilians with many more sustaining injuries. Meanwhile, emergency medical crews faced challenges in reaching the affected areas due to ongoing airstrikes and gunfire, hindering their efforts to transport the injured to hospitals. The latest casualty update from Gaza's health ministry said 20,057 Palestinians have been killed and 53,320 wounded in the Zionist offensive that have destroyed huge swaths of the enclave and displaced most of the population of 2.3 million. The United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution to boost humanitarian aid to Gaza following several delays over the last week as the United States lobbied to weaken the language regarding calls for a ceasefire. The resolution, which calls for steps to create the conditions for a sustainable cessation of hostilities, was passed on Friday with 13 votes in favor, none against, and the U.S. and Russia abstaining. Before the vote, Russia proposed an amendment strengthening the language around a ceasefire, saying that the draft resolution had been neutered by the U.S. The U.S.'s UN ambassador, Thomas Greenfield, however, accused her Russian counterpart of hypocrisy, pointing to Russia's own destructive invasion of Ukraine that began in February 2022. The vote came amid international calls to bring the months-long conflict to an end as Zionist forces pummel Gaza with one of the most destructive campaigns in modern history, and humanitarian conditions in the besieged Strip reached critical levels. Taiwan on Saturday reported spotting Chinese warships around the island and aircraft crossing the Taiwan Strait's sensitive median line on just weeks before elections are supposed to commence in the democratically governed nation. The country's defense ministry said it had detected J-10, J-11 and J-16 fighters as well as early warning aircraft operating in the airspace to the north, middle and southwest of the island. They added that 10 aircraft had also crossed the Taiwan Strait median line or areas nearby, and that the aircraft were working with Chinese warships to carry out joint combat readiness patrols. China, however, has not addressed its recent military activities near Taiwan, but previously said they were intended to prevent any collusion. The continued Chinese military activities come as Taiwan prepares for its presidential and parliamentary elections on January 13th, in which Chinese relations are a major point of contention between the leading candidates. Big win for Malaysia's under-23 squad. Sports when we come back.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods ubat batuk yang saya percaya.
어떻게 됐어? 네가 지금 못해 있는 게 아닌 것 같은데.
Seronoknya layan Oprah sampai pagi.
보고? 개판이네! 힘은 가속도와 질량에 비례한다.
조문 왔던 걔네들 왔다 가고 그랬잖아.
Mak turun aplikasi tonton, semua favourite anda ada di sini.
Nak naik pangkat, kena belajar bahasa Inggris dulu.
대학 안 나와도 엑스셀도 할 수 있는 거야? 됐고, 3달 안에 토익 600을 어떻게 넘냐?
We can do it! Yes! No.
Tapi macam ada rahsia yang tak kena je.
넘어가면 안 될까요?
패널 콸콸콸 나왔는데.
Selamat datang ke Sam Jin Company English Class. Ahad ini 3 petang. Di Magnificent 8 TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports. Football, the under-23 international friendlies. Harith Haikal Adam Afkar scored in the final minute as Malaysia defeated China 1-0 in a closed-door match in Shanghai on Saturday.
China displayed their aggression in the first half with a few dangerous attempts, all successfully thwarted by the national defense led by Harith Haikal, and the score remained nil for both teams until halftime. After the restart, both teams had their share of chances, but either their attempts were thwarted or went wide. As the game seemed to be heading towards a draw, Harith Haikal finally scored the sole and winning goal for Malaysia in stoppage time through a corner kick. The victory was significant for the new head coach, Juan Torres Garrido, as he will lead the national squad to the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup next year. Malaysia is scheduled to play Uzbekistan in their Group D opener on April 17, 2024.
Still on football, the 2023 FIFA Club World Cup final. Julian Alvarez scored the fastest goal ever as Manchester City thrashed Brazil's Fluminense 4-0 on Saturday to cap a remarkable year by capturing their 5th trophy of 2023.
City broke the deadlock just 40 seconds into the game, with Alvarez the quickest to respond, reaching a rebound off the post from Nathan Ake's shot. The reigning European champions doubled their lead in the 27th minute as Fluminense skipper Nino turned Phil Foden's cross into his own net, making the halftime scoreline 2-0. Foden bagged another goal for City in the 72nd minute through Alvarez's low cross before the Argentine forward sealed his side's victory by drilling the ball into the bottom corner in the 88th minute. The win gave City their first Club World Cup title, adding to their triumphs in the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League and UEFA Super Cup. In another match, Al Ahly defeated Urawa Reds 4-2 to secure a third-place finish at the 2023 FIFA Club World Cup for the third time in 4 years. Al Ahly took the lead in the 19th minute through Yasser Ibrahim before Percy Tau doubled their lead 6 minutes later. Just when it looked like Al Ahly was about to cruise to an easy win, Urawa pulled a goal back when Jose Kante hit a first-time volley in the 43rd minute, making it 2-1 at halftime. After the break, Urawa came out with renewed belief when Alexander Schultz leveled the scores by converting a penalty in the 54th minute. Al Ahly, however, retook the lead 6 minutes later through an own goal from Urawa defender Yoshio Koizumi. Ali Malul then secured the win for Al Ahly with an amazing free kick in stoppage time.
Claim of legal action against public transport drivers untrue. The details when we return.
Karnival Jom Heboh 2024 akan ke Kuching, Sarawak. Peluang terbaik untuk kembangkan jenama, promosi dan bisnes anda dengan pelbagai aktiviti menarik. Hubungi kami sekarang di maklumat tertera untuk menyertai. Jom, jom, jom!
Kisah menarik paparan majalah 3 sepanjang tahun ini. Lensa realiti bagaikan inspirasi dan menjadi sejarah di hari muka. Majalah 3, 25 Disember, Isnin 9 malam, hanya di TV3. Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Ha, dah nak masuk tahun 2024 ni, perempuan mestilah kena licik. Bijak.
You're adorable. You are in the presence of angel.
Dan berani. Later!
Time to go to work.
Awas ya para lelaki. Charlie's Angels menyerang Ahad ini 9 malam di Magnificent 8 TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. Owners of business premises in the federal capital are reminded to comply with all regulations set by the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, especially on leasing out the premises to foreigners without valid documents. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Federal Territories, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa, said they should go through the proper channel if they intend to hire foreign workers.
Dr. Zaliha, in a statement on Saturday, said she had instructed the DBKL to carry out periodic checks and monitoring of business premises in the city. This is to ensure issues such as leasing out business licenses to foreigners without valid documents and employment of illegal immigrants can be eradicated. She also thanked the General Operations Force, GOF, of the Royal Malaysia Police for the raid conducted in Kuala Lumpur last Thursday, which resulted in the arrest of 1,101 illegal immigrants, most of them Bangladeshi, Nepalese and Myanmar nationals. All of them were detained for various immigration offences under an integrated operation, which also involved several other enforcement agencies in the Jalan Silang area, dubbed Mini Dhaka. The Immigration Department has refuted claims, which went viral on social media, that legal action can be taken against drivers of public transport carrying illegal immigrants. As such, its Director General, Datuk Ruslin Juso, advised the public not to be deceived by such information, believed to have been spread by irresponsible parties without first checking with the authorities. Now, in a statement on Saturday, he said public transport drivers do not have the authority to check such documents and do not need to be burdened with the task of checking the status of foreign passengers. However, they can be convicted under the Immigration Act if they were found to have voluntarily protected any person whom they know to have violated provisions in the law. He also said that his department would not compromise and would take strict action against any individual who commits offences under the same act.
Fail Mahkamah merungkai kes-kes tergempar Malaysia. Laporan, siasatan serta prosiding kes yang telah dibicara ke muka pengadilan. Rangkuman kes-kes berprofil tinggi yang telah dipaparkan dalam fail mahkamah sepanjang 2023.
Churches all around the world are getting ready to celebrate Christmas, including Kuala Lumpur's oldest Catholic church, St. John's Cathedral, which is reopening its doors after undergoing repair. FMT's Divya Raghu and Noel Wong have the story.
It's Christmas time and many Malaysian churches have been preparing to welcome the holy season. St. John's Cathedral is no exception, although their preparations have been somewhat more extensive this year. When FMT Lifestyle visited Kuala Lumpur's oldest Catholic church in mid-December, workmen could be seen touching up the walls and floors. As it turns out, being an old church can require a lot of work. Although the current building was completed in 1955, records suggest that St. John's has been around since the 1880s. With the KL Tower looming right behind it, the building stands as a relic of the age of Merdeka. This year has not been an easy one for the church. In February, part of its ceiling collapsed due to termites, resulting in the need for extensive repair work. Nevertheless, parish priest Gerard Theravium remains in good spirits.
And this is my second year here in the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist. And it's an exciting time to be here right now because we are approaching Christmas. This is the season of Advent. So it's a lot of stuff. And, you know, already Christmas is already in the air. And things are happening everywhere.
The historical value of the church is not lost on Gerard, who was ordained in this very cathedral, making it an honor for him to be serving at St. John's. The church's most famous feature is the stained glass windows overlooking the sanctuary. Imported from France, the windows depict the journey of St. John, a beloved disciple of Jesus Christ. Gerard looks forward to welcoming his congregation, who come from near and far, back to the restored building just in time for the holy celebration of Christmas.
I've grown to love this space. It is an interesting combination of people from many nationalities coming here. I hope all Malaysians will be able to work as one, to see our commonality as children of the one God, and to be able to work regardless of race or religion or color or creed, to be able to see the needs of people, especially those who are underprivileged and need help.
Tivia Ragu and Noel Wong, FMT Lifestyle for Nightline.
As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at the FIS World Cup in Georgia, where Michael Kingsbury of Canada extended his title to 84 times after winning the men's duo moguls event. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching Nightline, and be safe, Malaysia.